Hey, how's it going, guys? It's ZDEyE here. So today I wanted to talk about a little bit, November of 2021. So we've had pretty much a lot of good games, and unfortunately we've had quite a lot of, majority in fact, of very badly, just unpolished, basically unfinished games that were released in the month of November. So of course I'm going to be getting into, as an example, Call of Duty Vanguard. I'm going to be talking about Battlefield 2042, Grand Theft Auto the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition, but of course I cannot ignore a few games that definitely actually strived, as such as the example of Forza Horizon 5. That game, for the month of November, is perhaps the best game to release. Now, one other game I definitely wanted to touch on just slightly, it's Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, the Anniversary Edition, actually released the same day as did the Grand Theft Auto the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition. And as such, basically, what's the difference there with the Anniversary Edition of Skyrim? Basically, you can now play as a full version on the taking full advantage of the PlayStation 5 and including, of course, Xbox Series S and X. Now, in terms of the differences, there isn't any. Now, I'm touching on this first. I want to touch on because it is not considered to be more or less of a new game, but it's also not really a remaster nor remake. It's nothing really special, and as such, that's why it's actually getting a Metacritic score of 77 and user score like 3.0. Still, I gotta say that, it is a little bit disappointing. There's really not much differences compared to what you'd be expecting out of the Skyrim, the special edition that came out on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and PC, of course. And so, what was the point of this? Like, why do we have to pay extra money for this? It's just not worth it. And yeah, sure, I completely understand if you have not played Skyrim at this point, who hasn't? Then maybe better option to pick this up if you want to. Again, that's up to you. But that's just that. Elder Scrolls is its thing in its own, and if you like Elder Scrolls, you like this, of course. If you played Skyrim already, sure, you can go ahead and play it again and again. It's up to you, of course. But I wanted to touch on more on a blockbuster game such as first I'll get into Call of Duty Vanguard. I was really considering picking this game up, and in fact I was considering getting a special edition of it so I could play on PS4 and the PS5 version of this game. But after I've decided for some odd reason to wait, and that was perhaps a month before its release, right? It was October. And so I was just waiting. I wanted to find out more information. For some odd reason I had this very bad feeling about this game, right? So anyway, long story short, Call of Duty Vanguard comes out, and look, even during the period of honeymoon, the game is still in a very bad state. And in fact, I don't think even really was in a honeymoon period, was it? Perhaps not, at least it wasn't to me. Like, the first day it comes out, it was, a disappointment, really. Like, the game was so tone deaf, it was so bare bones compared to Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, that it makes you question, what was the point of releasing this shit? There's so many things are missing. The campaign is super short, it's not even interesting compared to the Cold Wars. The zombies is super bare bones, it doesn't even have round-based levels in this. It's just crazy. And what makes it question a little bit more, Treyarch are the ones that created the zombies for this game. It's weird, what the hell happened? Multiplayer, even though it definitely is a better component of these three modes that it has, it's Call of Duty. It'll always have these issues in terms of its multiplayer, so it's nothing really new there. If you wanted something innovative, this is not it. And I don't think Call of Duty will ever be like something of an innovation. They need to take a break. Call of Duty yearly releases is just not healthy, and on top of that, not healthy for the community, it's not healthy for the developers. I think it's time, I seriously do. In fact, it was time since a decade ago. So Call of Duty Vanguard getting a 73, it is definitely warranted. Perhaps I would even argue to say it deserves lower than that, but I cannot judge that because I never picked up the game. I will pick up the game though, when it will be a deep sale for up to maybe, $25 to $30, or euros in this case for me. And so I decided against it. I will not bother. Next up, we've got, I'm gonna go with the period of release dates, okay? Next up, it's Forza Horizon 5 for Xbox game. Basically, you know, it's being an exclusive, so PlayStation guys are not gonna be capable of experiencing this. I only have heard very good things about this racing game. A lot of people even said that it may be the game of the year for 2021. And you know what? That's warranted. As I'm looking through these critics and people saying, it is only getting a lot of praise. It's receiving Metacritic of 92 and users giving a score of 8.8, so that is very, very good. And you know, everything that I've heard and seen, it does look like more of Forza Horizon, but it is still a very polished and very detailed and very, very fun game to be experiencing and playing, right? Racing games in their own ways, they're a genre of their own, right? They're not exactly, how can I say, portrayed highly because they are racing games, and perhaps this is why this game never got the nominee for the game of the year. But you know, it does suck, of course. But you know, after watching the gameplay, you know, being it's just a racing game, I think it just does a disservice. In fact, I would argue to say that perhaps maybe this game should have actually received a far higher, you know, evaluation and, you know, critics thinking like, right? Just getting barely any nominees for Forza Horizon 5, I think it's not a good thing. I feel like this game deserves more. Now, I did not play the game. I'm not thinking even buying it unless if I pick up the Xbox console. Currently, I do not have the console because I just don't see the reason me picking it up. But now I'm actually getting a little bit more enticed of picking it up. But again, I can wait. I'm a very patient person. I've got no problem waiting. But first, perhaps I'll want to pick this game up when, you know, Starfield, maybe when that will release. And so it depends how good Starfield is. Yeah, it's gonna take another year though. So, and like I said, I'm very patient. Next up, we've got a little game. Well, 3 games in one, I should even say, right? It's Grand Theft Auto The Trilogy, the Definitive Edition. Came out on November the 11th, being that it has basically celebrating of 20th anniversary of Grand Theft Auto 3. And we all know how that turned out to be. So Metacritic is receiving a 58 and user scores giving a 0.9, absolutely horrible. I don't think 0.9 is really warranted. In fact, I think this game should be just like, I don't know, just mediocre at best, right? Maybe it's like an average score of 5 to 10. That is definitely warranted of everything that I've seen and noticed. I purposely did not play this game, even though I did pick it up, I did buy it, I did download it as well. I'm waiting for more patches to come. First patch already has been initialized, and that's awesome, thank God. But I'm thinking I'm gonna wait a little bit longer purposely because I want to, I want the game to be more polished out. Especially, I just don't want to experience these stupid crashes when I'll be doing paramedic missions like of 12 levels, right? So yeah, I'm gonna be waiting. I cannot wait to dive into this game when it will be in a far better state. But at the moment, it is not in a good light as of this moment. But still, I'm holding my breath and just wanting to see more of this game after with the patches that have been released and, you know, cleared up the game, you know, just cleaned up. So that's very important. Still, everything that has been said regarding it, you know, it's been said already. I don't think there's any necessary things for me to say anymore about this game, other than being that it is a Grand Theft Auto game. That's awesome. Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and also San Andreas. You know, it's also a very good reason for me to dive into it and experience it once again as a definitive edition, but of course after a few more patches when they do release. Same day as well, we received a little game called Elder Scrolls V: The Skyrim, the Anniversary Edition. So you can actually play this game and take a full advantage for your PlayStation 5 and Series X and S. Playing this game is very good. I'm sure a lot of people already have experienced it, you know, who hasn't, right? And as such, you know, it'd be warranting a question. Is it really worth paying an additional price tag just so you can actually get an additional features? Now that really depends on you. That really depends the question in mind. what do you want out of this game? What do you want out of Skyrim, right? If you want more of the same, you've got it. If you want something else, or perhaps something much more, well, you're gonna have to get ready for disappointment. Now, I'm sure a lot of you that since like, what is it, the 20th of November currently as of the recording this video, you know, Skyrim has been out already for the past 9 days, and I'm sure that any of you who have picked up this game for the PS5 and also or the Series X and S, you know, you already knew what you were signing up for. Now, next up is another big blockbuster game, a little shooter called Battlefield 2042. So it was initially delayed from October and pushed a month to November. Full release happened, I think it was yesterday, the 19th of November. And we know how that turned out to be. So the game actually has 3 different modes. One of them is better than any of the 2, basically revisiting, you know, the past Battlefield games and maps and guns and everything like that to experience for yourself and play with them it's always a joyride, personally, at least for me. Now, I did not pick up the game because, you know, after experiencing the beta and seeing the reception of this game as well, I already knew something was up with this. And, you know, at this point, I'm very glad the way I didn't pick it up because, well, it is in a very bad shape. Now, the game is very unpolished. There's a lot of issues, even though it has 3 modes like I already mentioned. But, you know, one of the biggest substantial things that questioned my mind, there's just no campaign. And, you know, Battlefield, personally for me, are the campaigns that's like the main element. Now, don't get me wrong, multiplayer definitely is an incredible experience, but what Battlefield 2042 has to offer, well, that's just not it, chief. Basically, experiencing multiplayer that I have already experienced from Battlefield 4, 3, 1, and 5, it's more of the same, but a lot of cases actually simplified. Like, it kind of tends to feel more or less like a Call of Duty. You know, being in ginormous maps that's unnecessarily way too big. Even though it has now 128 players capabilities on the PS5, Series X and S, and also PC, you know, it's always nice. But the maps are so damn big, it just questions it, you know what I mean? No, anyway, I just not looking forward to it. Like, if I'll pick up the game, like if that's the question or not, I don't know. I personally think I would rather wait a little bit longer, see the next patches, new updates and everything like that, how much it fixes the game, because I feel like this game needed another year of delay to receive the full potential. But, you know, how everything turned out to be, you know, I'm just questioning it. I'm very much am. Well, these were the games basically, at least that I wanted to touch on and have a discussion regarding. But in terms of the November, it is very, very disappointing month of 2021, because one game that definitely reached its high standards was obviously Forza Horizon 5. But the rest of the games, well, there are dumpster fire, practically, right? And so it really does suck. None of us want to play a game that's unpolished, unfinished, bad, broken. None of us do, right? And I'm sure that the developers perhaps want to release these games in the best possible state. But again, there's always complications could be going around that we don't know behind the curtains, right? We have to always guess these things that what could be in the horizon? What's going to be happening next, you know? We don't know. Of course, like one of the things is such an example that these games may come out and they never get patched. That's also a very big possibility. Now, thankfully, these games that I've touched on, they're very big, titles. So, of course, this means that they will get more support even after their initial launch. But okay, well, that's just my thoughts, guys. Tell me down in the comments what you think about these games as well. Were you disappointed? Were you happy with a few of these releases? But yeah. All right, tell me down in the comments. I'd love to read it. Like and subscribe, guys. See you guys all, and have a wonderful day.